Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is What If Asta was a reincarnation of Gojo Satoru and Kakashi Hatake, and had metallic magic. Part 7. The end of this What If. Now, I know what you're all thinking. How are you gonna end this? Well, I have an idea on how to end this, but not the point. Let me first. Now, if you hear something in the background, it's just me turning on my heater. It's already becoming, October. Not becoming October. It's already October, and it's at 50 degrees where I live at. Yeah, it's kind of cold. So, yeah. So, of course, you're probably hearing that in the background, but not the point. But, yeah, that's not the point. So, let me go into this what if, and let me shut the fuck up, but yeah. I should also mention that I have another what if in mind and doing after this what if I can get to it. It's 12 in the, the night and all that, or in the night and all that. But can I say one thing? I kind of slept for like a little bit, like 4 hours, 5 hours. I don't know how much I slept for. I woke up at somewhere around 7. Yeah. Then I almost fell asleep again, but yeah, I am just a very tired person. Not the point. Let me just go into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. Because I don't have, I have time to record this. Do I have battery for a charger? I don't know. I didn't check. How much do I do? I have 25, okay. Probably should be enough. Another point, let me go into this, what if, and let me shut up, okay? So, we go into Asta being in the Royal Magic Night. Of course, Asta seems to be tired and not really taking this serious. Now, of course, there were Junko and, mostly Junko and, Noelle are kind of around Asta, kind of like trying to see what Asta is going to do. Pretty much, they are actually just hoping that Asta doesn't do anything reckless. Because Asta does do some things that are reckless, that would just like kick him out or somehow just get out of here, because Asta just doesn't want to be here. Now, Yuno is trying to, mostly glare at Asta. Now, of course, a bunch of other people are kind of scared of what Asta would do, and I'm scared of what he won't do. But yeah, we go into a time skip of where Asta is in a group with Mariona and, Zora. So Zora is a part of what's it called Asta's like Black Bull. So yeah, Asta kind of found that out after a while. Of course, Asta didn't give a shit that much, but yeah. Of course, I should also mention that Asta didn't also give a shit about the, person that tries to hide under his shadow. He actually should just stab the person with a bunch of like silver around, just being stabbed. This is where, it was mostly silverware. Like what's it called, like spoons and forks and all that, just turned to dust and got stabbed by it. But yeah, transformed to swords to stab by it. Of course, this is where, Mariana doesn't find that information, but yeah, they had it to go for like 1 day and all that. But yeah. Of course, Asta and Zora are kind of going into the, the domain of where the elves are at. Of course, is where Lich still kind of gets the, all the magic gems. Of course, is where, all the elves are incarnated. But we go into a faraway place. A faraway place managing to, destroy the kind of wall, or mostly the magic region's wall between the Clover Kingdom and, the Spade Kingdom. 3 people walk out right now smiling, saying, so, I know that we would have given the, kingdom some time, but there's a very dangerous person. And what is his name? Mostly the girl says, I don't fucking know. Ask Zenon. Zenon says, his name is Gojo Kakashi. Something like that. He has what's called, his magic is metallic. This is where Dante says, of course, we will have to get rid of him. And then get Yami and, what's it called, Williams for the tree. So let's go. This is where they start walking, and of course, this is where Dark Disciples are walking behind them, and of course, going into the Clover Kingdom. This is where, we go into Asta dealing with the elves, the incarnated elves. This is where Asta doesn't give a shit and mostly just kicks the shit out of them so hard by kneeling them in the stomach, or even just fucking kicking them down to the ground, smashing their head into the ground. They get knocked out. Asta seems to care less, and of course he doesn't even have his eyes out. This is where, well, Raya tries to attack him and tries to copy his magic, which he does copy what's it called, Asta's magic, by touching the air and all that. And of course tries to use Limitless. This is where Asta still beat the shit out of Raya, even if Raya was loved by Mana. Like, Asta didn't give a shit. So yeah, of course Asta found where it was Yuno was at. Yuno was possessed and all that, but of course Yuno is possessed by like a baby and all that, so of course he can still retrain like a bunch of memories and all that, and still got the power of the elves and all that. This is where Asta, he sees that he's, well, mostly looking into the blank and all that. Like, Asta looks at Yuno, and this is where Yuno, mostly the other two elves, they're trying to attack Asta, but Asta kind of just, well, mostly used reverse curse energy, red, and blast him through the wall, and of course outside, smashing down the ground. It was both, what's it called? Well, it was that one glass user, and of course, well, the other one was, what's it called? It was a glass user and Klaus that just got easily destroyed, and of course, it worked. Well, Asta then looks at Yuno and just smacked the back of his head like he didn't give a shit. Like, wake the fuck up. This is where Yuno says, ow. This is where, well, Momosa says, Yuno, Asta. This is where Momosa never thought that Asta would just smack the shit of him. Like, duh. Like, Asta didn't give a shit. Like, he wanted him to hurry the fuck up and stop taking the fucking nap. This is where, Lich appears, and of course having the, what's it called, Demon Destroyer. And this is where he swings his sword in front of him and tries to cut Asta. This is where, well, mostly Asta dodges, but this is where, well, Lich does pull out the Demon Dweller also. Like, he kind of, like, grabs the Demon Dweller out of nowhere. This is where, well, he uses his magic and managed to make it appear right in front of him. This is where, well, he then swings a white light blade straight towards the both Asta and Yuno. Yuno dodges. Asta, he just fucking says lightning style. Lightning despairs. This is where, well, he sends lightning from his hand and it destroys in an instant. It was mostly a chakra attack that Asta kind of used. Asta says, well, time to kick your ass, bitch. This is where, well, Yuno tries to attack Lich. Well, mostly, yeah, Lich, who is actually the real Lich. And of course, this is where Lich is trying to just defeat both Yuno and Asta. This is where Asta is kind of, well, fighting against Lich. And of course, Yuno is kind of getting speed blitz, but of course, Asta isn't. This is where Asta's right now flying in the mid-air without kind of giving a goddamn care in the world. Now, of course, this is where, well, Asta does show his two eyes, his two bluish eyes, and right now fighting against Lich. Of course, kneeling him in the face, kicking him down. Of course, Lich tries to use his sword to attack Asta, but of course, Asta grabs both of them using Limitless. And of course, then, well, mostly, yeah, using Limitless, and then kneeling him in the face, sending Lich to the fucking wall and not giving a shit that much. Now, of course, Raya is seeing this. He is right now still pretty hurt, but of course, he's just seeing Asta beating the shit out of Lich. Right, up, down, up, down, up, down, yeah. Asta then noticed something. Lich isn't fully there. This is where Asta kind of like awakened him. This is where, well, Asta kind of just well, did this. He says, lightning style, lightning awoken. This is where, well, his lightning became a very bright shade of white lightning and all that. And this is where he puts his hand into what's it called, Lich. And of course, Lich gets shocked, but of course, get awoken memories. This is where he says, what just happened? Oh, why the fuck my body hurts like hell? This is where Asta says, oh, oops. Yeah, I kind of hit you so bad because you were mostly an enemy. But from my eyes understanding, it seems that you weren't fully awoken. This is where, Lich says, ow, my face hurts so much. Yeah, I need you like 3 times or something. This is where Yuno tries to attack him with a wind blast, both Asta and, well, Lich. And this is where Asta says, really? This motherfucker still doesn't Can I have that sword right there? This is where Lich says, sure. This is where Asta grabs the Demon Dweller, and this is where he adds his own energy to it. It's mostly silver, well, mostly the metallic magic. And this is where he sends metallic slashes, like about 4 of them, straight towards the wind blast. And of course, they all just hit the wind blast and kind of start pushing straight towards, well, mostly through the kind of wind blast and almost hitting Unity. What the hell, Asta? Can you calm down and get your ass down here? You fucking bastard, you're annoying more than I thought. This is where, well, does get down there, and of course, well, says, so what happened? Hello, this motherfucker isn't attacking us because guess what? He's not that evil. This is where she's, where am I anyway? That's where Asta says, you're in the, Asta talks about the time, and this is where Lich winds his eyes, and this is where he says, but how? What? This is where he remembers something. He remembers a demon named Zagreus. Right now, trying to manipulate him, and of course, remembers his best friend, trying to, killing him. Of course, remembers that there was a reincarnated spell, and this is where he realized that the elves are reincarnated full with hatred. Raya jumps out and says, Lich, is that you? I'll save you. This is where, Lich stop Raya. Raya stops and says, huh? You're fully awakened. This is where, Lich kind of shakes his head up and says, ugh, even though I still feel like hell and all that, I'm awakened fully. Thank you, human. But still, we must get to the capital and stop all the other elves. That's where Raya says, what? Why? Because you're not fully yourself. You're reincarnated thanks to the spell of Forbidden. I never wanted this. This is where, Raya said, I see. But poetry is being manipulated by the demon, I guess so. The devil named Zagreus, interesting. He is being manipulated. I never really decided to step in. The only time I stepped in is not that long ago. I don't know. Well, I should be going then. Well, we sure should be going on to the capital. This is where Maria kind of gets out, and of course has the knocked out elves and all. And this is where, Asta says, I do not know how to. This is where Asta kind of looks at, all the knocked out elf for reincarnations, and this is where Asta says, so do you have a way to kind of get their souls out? This is where, Lich says, no, I cannot have an idea. This is where Asta, he does have the Demon Destroyer still in his, mostly the Demon Dweller. This is where he gives the Demon Dweller back into, Lich's hand, and this is where he grabs the Demon Destroyer. This is where Lich says, you're not going to ask about it. This is where Asta says, what are they called exactly? This is where, Lich says, they're called the Demon Destroyer and the Demon Dweller. This is where Asta, he remembers something. He remembers something so well. This is where, he gets a flashback. We go into a flashback of when Asta was kind of messing with his grimoires. When Asta was kind of messing with all his grimoires, like fire, water, earth, lightning, other things like that. Of course, his metallic was one of the newest, what's called ones that he kind of got and all that. But he also got a kind of newer one. When he was messing with fire, water, earth, lightning, and even wind and all that. Because he does have all 5 elements and all that. Because thanks to his 5 element chakra, just like Kakashi, mostly because of all the copy ninjutsus that he managed to kind of get from his past life. He managed to get what's called grimoires like those. But of course, this is where, the metallic was supposed to be his original magic and all that. But he also remembered getting a red book with 5 leaves. And this is where, Asta kind of remembers it. This is where Asta then kind of pulls out, one of his grimoires out of thin air. This is where, he pulls out all the grimoires he has. And this is where, Lich actually notices, and everyone else notices this. There's the five elements, what's it called, grimoires, that he kind of uses. In some occasions, not really. He kind of just uses them with his metallic magic a lot. And this is where his kind of 6th one is the metallic book. Now, the metallic book has a, 4 leaf on there. Of course, with the other, what's called grimoires, they have 4 leaves. Well, the metallic doesn't actually have 4 leaves. It has 7 leaves in total. Just because 7 is kind of like a lucky number and all that. And so where, Asta kind of ignores that grimoire and goes on for, the 7th grimoire that he has. He has the 5, he then has the 6, would be that metallic one. But then the 7th one is this crimson red book. He kind of just grabs it, and of course feels this weird energy coming from it. That's why when he's using his eyes to kind of see what this grimoire is, he kind of realized that he should put the grimoire into, well, mostly put the sword into the grimoire, which he does. And of course, the grimoire kind of changes the sword from white to black. Asta then realized that it has now this weird magic around it, anti-magic. Asta kind of grabs it, and of course he's holding it with one hand, and of course it's not absorbing his magic. It's weird, because he then sees that this anti-magic will actually absorb anyone else. And this is where, well, Asta says, what the hell? Why is it not? This is where he kind of asks Lich to kind of hold the sword. When Lich holds the sword, he feels like he can't pick it up anymore. He asks what Asta have done to it. This is where Asta says, don't know, but I think this is a key. This is where Asta points the sword straight towards the other, like, incarnation, mostly, incarnated elves. This is where, Raya says, what are you, this is where all the elves that were in the bodies of the different, different bodies, kind of changes from, still being an elf, and this is where darkness actually erupts from them, and this is where they all go into Asta, but this is where Asta's eyes manage to kind of just, mostly go through it pretty easily, absorbing all the information. This is where Asta almost falls backwards from all the information he did get. This is where Asta managed to still not fall backwards. This is where Lich widened his eyes, seeing all his incarnate people are actually leaving the bodies of those humans. Asta then realized one thing. This sword is called the Demon Destroyer, yes. It has the ability for him to release those who are incarnated, or mostly just destroy any magical spell, thanks to the anti-magic. This is where he looks at the Demon Dweller, but he decides to let what's called Lich just eat that. This is where Asta says, then let's go. I think I have an idea. I'll let you get to the capital. I will meet you all up when I actually get towards the others who are reincarnated of elves. Incarnated, reincarnated, those sound the damn same. I'm kind of just keep. If you hear me say incarnated, I just mean reincarnated, but yeah. Of course, this is where, Asta kind of goes towards, he mostly flies up and leaps towards to see where all the reincarnated elves are at. That's where mostly his eyes are managed to know where they're all at, and of course it goes. Of course, this is where Nocel makes a silver ego, and of course this is where all of them get on there. Of course, this is where Lich is already kind of just flying. This is where Riot also flies. This is where, or mostly Riot kind of gets on the silver ego, but yeah. This is where, kind of had to explain towards what's called everyone else about what is happening, and they realized that Lich is actually the true leader. But of course, Lich is actually nicer than the actual other elves that are kind of reincarnated. They realize the devil is right now possessing, those who, mostly the kind of fake leader about a prophecy that he must have to do. This is where, all of them are going to the capital just to see, mostly just to protect the capital, but yeah. Of course, this is where, Asta is going towards multiple reincarnated elves, and of course he's using the Demon Destroyer and destroying them easily. Now, of course, Asta had to block an attack from, luck from the fact that he was trying to kill Magna. Of course, Magna was shocked and says, Asta? Asta says, yo, you okay? So, of course, this is where, Asta kind of, stabbed the sword into Luck, mostly kind of barely. But of course, this is where, Luck still kind of gets the reincarnated elf out of him, but yeah. This is where Asta kind of does that across the whole, Clover Kingdom. Of course, meeting up with the Black Bulls first, and of course, we're seeing that Nosh was actually hurt by Gojo. And when Asta did hear about this from Henry Gordon and even Gray, Asta's eyes changes from a lightish blue friendly color to a very crimson and black color. Now, of course, that scared the shit out of both Gordon, Gray, and even Henry. And they all kind of remember Gojo as a good friend and realize that he is dead. Just dead. Yeah, he's gone. Of course, they kind of just like still find Charmy, and Charmy still wanted to get revenge on those who destroyed her farm and all that. And of course, they were Charmy then noticed what they call Nosh and Asta, and of course, Asta saw her in such a very angry state that he would murder not Gordon, Gosh's head for revenge. So yeah, Asta doesn't give a shit that much. This is where Nosh does tell Asta to calm down, but yeah. Of course, they want us to calm down, but that's where Charmy makes food where everyone should recover. Now, of course, Charmy did this out of just, being Charmy. And getting angry that Ghost did something to her farm. Revenge, bitch. This is where we go into Ghost, the reincarnated kind of elf being in Ghost's body. This is where Ghost's, mostly the elf, is kind of looking as, Mary, and of course, mostly Mary, the reincarnated elf, also inside. This is where, the incarnated elf feels like a shiver kind of went down his back. 2 shivers. One was a very powerful shiver, and the other one was just like this shiver that he still feel like he's gonna die. This is where, the elf is confused, but yeah. This is where, both Fauna and Victor were also on that place. And of course, they did meet up with Raya and Lich and all that. And they all did also know about what is happening. So of course, they are on with Raya and the Silver Eagle Bird and all that. Of course, where that they need to go to Hodge Village, because I already did Hodge Village and get that one fucker out of the village. But yeah. Of course, Asta met up with the other kids, and of course, Asta had to go check on the Black Wolf, but yeah. So, yeah, just a little flashback, but we go back into Asta, who is right now in present time. Asta asks Henry to make a, giant bull, so he can fit a bunch of, people in it. This is what, that's what Henry did, and of course, where, Gordon and Gray are helping with him, but yeah. Of course, Gray is seeing Asta in a very angry look, but of course, where Gray needs to be confident, because if Asta's that pissed, yeah, no. So, of course, they are all working together. They're going around the, mostly Clubber Kingdom to find all the reincarnated elves and freeing them from the human body by using the sword that Asta has, the Demon Destroyer. Now, of course, Asta does have almost 2 of his grimoires activate, most of the silver one, and even what's called the anti-magic one, because he still has that. That was always the case. Asta always had it. It's just Asta never used it sometimes because, he didn't really know what the fuck he had actually really done. But yeah. Asta never really tested out the anti-magic book, but yeah. So this is where we go into Asta just destroying half of those elves, and just getting all the humans into the pool so they can get to the capital. Now, of course, everyone is trying to get to the capital, and of course, rushing towards the capital, and Asta sees that's not gonna be fast enough. So this is where Asta, he asks Charmy for the food and all, and asks if it will be able to heal injuries in eyes. Charmy thinks about it and tries to look for any spells that might be able to recover eye injuries. This is where Charmy managed to make the food, and of course it was an expensive magic-based tax and all that. But of course she made her own food to just eat, so her magic can still replenish and all that. And of course where the recipe is done for Asta, and this is where Asta says thank you. This is where Asta touches the ground. And of course, he then looks at the, mostly into one of the walls of the pools and all that. And this is where, both of his eyes transform into the red and black, what I was talking about. So, you know how the Sharingan of, what's called Kakashi's, or / Obito's is like this, what they call, how should I explain? You know how, what's called Kakashi's Sharingan looks like this / Obito's and all that? Well, that's the case for the first form. Of course, it transformed into that when he was activating his 3 Tomoyas. Then it went into that. But then it went into this. So yeah, this is his internalist Sharingan. So the first one is called the Moniko Sharingan. And this is just called the internalist. is something that, well, kind of transformed after kind of getting enough hatred and anger and pain and other things. And it's not activated with the fact that, well, you need your brother or whatever, eye or whatever. Because, well, Obito and Kakashi aren't really related, and the fact that, well, they don't have any siblings. But yeah. But of course, where the red is at, all that red and all that, kind of is the black. And the black here is actually the, well, red. So yeah. So that's how the, what's called, mostly Sharingan will look like. Okay, so this is how the Sharingan will kind of look, turn into Sharingan. So yeah. So if you were thinking the red would be like that, yeah, it would be like that. Okay. But yeah. But of course, Asta's eye transformed into that, and this is where, well, Asta is kind of eating, and of course, this is where, well, he says, Kama weed. This is where, well, he says, Kama weed with the eye, and of course, this is where, well, both eyes are working in sync, and this is where, well, the bulls are actually being Kama weed towards the, well, what's it called, capital, which when they happens, they get there, and of course, Asta's eyes are being slowly regenerated thanks to the food. It's where, well, Asta has his eyes closed for the meanwhile. Everyone gets out and starts fighting the elf incarnation. This is where, well, everyone is shocked to see a giant bull, and this is where, well, the people that are on the tree are wondering when the other elves are going to come. Yeah, the other elves aren't going to come because Asta already kind of took him out. This is where, well, when Power 2 meets the real Lich and Ryan and the others, that's where he says, what is happening? That's where Lich says, Power 2, you're being controlled by a demon. Stop this. This is where Power 2 says, you're not the real one, are you? No. But, what? This is where, well, a demon managed to get towards Yuno and managed to get the necklace. And of course, it was mostly one of the elves. This is Lich says, stop him. This is where, well, the elf managed to get into, well, the dark castle because he still summoned it somehow. Well, mostly he managed to bring it out. Even though the other elves couldn't really be there. This is where, well, he still tries to use the necklace, but of course that didn't happen. And this is where he says, what? Why isn't this happening? No! No! You bastards! What the hell did you do to it? Lich! That's where Lich says. At least you don't have the 5-leaf, do you? It's where the devil says, I'm going to kill ya! This is where before he's able to even rush towards Lich and all that, Asta appears saying, you're not killing anyone. Internalist Kamui flames. This is where, well, a bunch of like vortex appear around this, well, elf and all that. And this is where, well, it appears multiple around him, but this is where the black flames all appear around it. This is where Jacker is saying, no, you can't kill me! He turns into black flames. This is where killing the devil and the elf. That's where Asta is right now bleeding from his eyes, but of course doesn't care. He's bleeding black blood, not red. But yeah. With the internal Sharingan being activated, it actually has a couple side effects. You see here, it might be much powerful than just a normal MS Sharingan or even EMS Sharingan, but the internal Sharingan actually has the side effect of transforming the user's blood from his eyes to black, instead of being just normal red. But of course, it also does have the weakness of kind of, well, not the weakness of going blind, but of course it's still kind of there if you overuse it. Of course, it also has the, well, a side effect of, well, what was it called? Also kind of have the effect of, well, how should I say? Well, the strain on your eye and also the how much chakra is absorbing from your body to kind of use any techniques. So yeah, it might be strong, but it's a lot of fucking side effects. But yeah, Asta is kind of just saying, ow, my eyes. It's already transformed back his eyes into the MS, but yeah. This is where, well, they're kind of shocking how powerful Asta really is. But of course, this is where, well, Yuno is shocking. This is where Asta kind of grabbed the necklace back and kind of just throws it towards Yuno and says, here, you need that. That's where Yuno says, yeah, I do. So I guess you're stronger than I thought, Asta. Yep. This is where Asta kind of keeps opening his eyes. And this is where, well, he feels like something's going to happen. Now, after all the elves being out of some of people's bodies and all that, Asta is still using the Demon Destroyer to kind of get rid of some of them. But this is where something happened. So there's something happening is, well, Asta being stopped in a coma state. This is where Asta is shocked. This is where, well, someone appears and it looks like Julius, but of course this person has black hair and has a kind of a similar pattern towards Julius' forehead, but it kind of looked like a sun. This is Lucius. Lucius says, "Ah, you must be what's it called, Kakashi Gojo. Interesting." This is where Asta says, who the hell are you? Asta can still talk through the chromacy because it's kind of not really affecting him thanks to his limitless. This is where Lucius says, "You really are annoying. The ability, the fact that you can stop any attacks, even time stop, from actually affecting you. This is quite annoying. I need to get rid of you." This is where, well, other explosions happen thanks to the fact that the Dark Tribe arrive and says, "Hey, brother." Hey, Lucius, Vanica said. And this is where everyone is trying to fight against the Dark Tribe, but of course some of them are losing. Yami's trying to help, but yeah. This is where, they kind of see Lucius kind of right now in front of Asta. And Lucius says, "You know what, I should really get rid of you. So, goodbye." Was it called Gojo Satoru? Or not Gojo Satoru. Goodbye, Kakashi Gojo. You will no longer exist in this world. Chroma state. Time thrown. This is where he tries to throw Asta into another time, but this is where before Asta is thrown into another time, he actually managed to not be thrown into another time and actually kind of uses his combo to appear right next to Lucius. This is where, well, Asta then back kicks what's called Lucius into a wall. Lucius gets angry and says, "Damn it. I tried to throw you into another world, you bastard. Go into that world." Asta says, "Hell no, you fuck. I'm not doing that." This is where the elves are right now fighting against the Dark Tribe, but the Dark Tribe is still pretty damn strong. Lich is trying to help, and this is where, well, the first Wizard King does actually appear. This is where Lich is saying, "I didn't want to do this, but time does help. And even though I don't have Lucifer heart, I can still do this." This is where, well, he kind of says, "Speed up time." This is where he kind of activates a spell on him to speed up time. And this is where, well, he speeds up time towards the fact that he now has, well, the kind of devil's power, but kind of looks kind of godly and all that. That whole form and all that. This is where, well, he's kind of squints. But of course in his head says, "I can only go for 1 hour for this shit before I have to go back into my original form. But that 1 hour is still enough to defeat you." This is where he rushes at Asta, and Asta is dodging attacks, and of course trying to knee this person in the face. But of course this is where both of them are fighting in the sky, and of course Yuno's trying to help, but this is where Yuno has to fight against, well, Zenin. And Zenin says he's really in that form. Interesting. Well, let's all fight and try to defeat what's it called, well, the kind of weaklings here. Dante says, "Oh, don't be such a buzzkill." It's called Zenin. Zenin says, "Whatever." Asta's right now being pushed down to the ground and actually getting stabbed to the ground with multiple, like, these heavenly swords. But they look demonic at the same time. Sinister. This is where Asta coughs up blood. And this is where Asta says, How did they manage to get through me?" This is where he realized one thing. The fact that he's been, what's it called, using a lot of abilities throughout this, what's it called, well, mostly a lot of energy and a lot of abilities throughout this whole place. And still his eyes are still hurting from the incomplete version of recovery eye magic that mostly what's it called, Charming tried to make, because Charming is still not the greatest cook right now. So yeah, she kind of only found out a while ago that recipe, but yeah, she never actually had it to bake it, so of course it's kind of new to her. But yeah, but of course the word, well, Asta is coughing up blood because Limitless is actually living, almost kind of disappearing. And this is where, well, Lucius says, "Good, now I can teleport you into the other world. Or I should kill you." "Yeah, I should kill you." This is where, well, Lucius drops off like this light beam that has this darkness and just drops it into Asta. Asta sees this and says, "Damn, am I really gonna die?" This is where, when the light beam hits Asta and blows up this huge light dome around, well, Asta and darkness dome. This is where, well, everyone winds their eyes and says, Asta! This is where Yuna says, Asta! This is where, well, Junko and Noelle says, no! This is where, well, Lucius says, ha! Now I got to get rid of you. That's where Lucius is walking away. But we go into, well, Asta himself. This is where, well, we go into Asta. Energy exploded from the dome of white. Where the white started dissipating, a dome actually, one explosion of white exploded from Asta. Well, should have been his remaining corpse. Or just disappear corpse. This is where Lucius turns around and says, what? You should be dead. This is impossible. This is where, well, we go into Asta, POV. This is where Asta opened his eyes. His eyes are no longer either the Sharingan or, well, mostly either the MS Internalist or just 3-Tome Sharingan. It's no longer, well, the 6-eye Limitless, well, mostly not Limitless, the 6 eyes. But instead, a fusion between 6 eyes and the Renny Sharingan. It's where, well, Asta opened his eyes, and of course, it's where, well, Asta then appears to have a cloak around him. A very bluish, whitish cloak around him. This is where, well, he appears around him. Of course, it's where, well, his 7 grimoires are all around him. But this is where something happens with his eyes. A tinge of red and black appears, mostly in the Tomoyas. This is where, well, the slick, mostly the dot eye in the middle becomes slick. And this is where, well, it becomes mostly into like a reddish star, like a cross reddish star. This is where, well, it becomes similar to like this. This is where, well, that is happening. Of course, this is where, well, we go into Asta. Asta also has horns on his head. These kind of whitish, well, blackish horns at the same time. This is where, well, Asta has sharp teeth in his mouth when he kind of opens it a little bit just to breathe out. And of course, where, well, Asta has palish whitish skin, of course, that's just been there for a while. Of course, where, well, the cloak is actually covering up his muscles and all that, because it's kind of like growing into him, or like something like that. And of course, where, well, I'm saying of course multiple times, but we go into Asta, and of course, where, well, Asta is also having what's called, well, he's levitating, and this is where, well, Asta also has what's called, well, multiple weapons all around him. These weapons are out of a material, a metal, that's so rare. And what's it called, the whole, what's it called, black, well, not Black Clover, mostly the, what's it called, world, the 4 great nations, that's just appearing around him. Materials, multiple metals, different types of metals, and different types of elements, but into those metals. Into those elements having different types of, like, well, metals, well, multi-metals having elements, like fire, fire iron, water, steel, what's it called, earth, iron or something. There was multiple elements just transforming into those. And this is where one, well, metal was so confusing for Lucius. It was called anti-magic titanium. This is where, well, the anti-magic titanium material transformed into a sword. This is where, well, a sword that seems to be very, very fucking sharp. It looked to be like a katana. This is where Asta grabs it, and of course, it was a long black katana. This is where, well, Asta, he breathes in and out still, and of course, where wings appear behind him, but something is kind of different around his eyes. Instead of his eyes having that white color, it's like this gold and silver being around it, between his new awakening eyes. This is where, well, a crown actually appears around him to be in gold and silver, and of course, where, well, the wings, as you mentioned, are not just black. They're with this gold and silver, and of course, a tail appears. This is where, well, a tail appears behind, well, Asta. This kind of looks like a kind of dragon tail instead of a demon tail. This is where, well, his grimoire in front of him, the silver one, is glowing right now in kind of the sparkly color. And the other one, kind of blackish red one, is glowing out to having this kind of sinister color. This is where Asta, he is looking at Lucius, and of course, this is where Asta seems to have a tint of fuck you. But in the other side, he doesn't have that much of a tint. Well, I mean, he does have a face looking like that. But this is where, well, he looks at Lucius. And this is where, well, we go into a flashback on what really happened. We go into Asta, waking up into darkness. Of course, having, well, one of his eyes being the sixth eye and the other one being the Sharingan. He is confused and what is happening. He never actually managed to kind of use both of his eyes at the same time. It was either one or the other. But yeah. Of course, well, he met a lot of people in his, well, weird place. But yeah. The people that he met was basically the old people slash friends slash family members, whatever, of Kakashi's side and Gojo's side. Now, of course, he met a lot of them, like a bunch of flashback and memories, and did meet the original two users of the eyes that Asta has, Gojo Satoru and Kakashi Hatake. Now, of course, he met both of them. He also met the Sage of Sixth Path. Well, Kakashi did meet him before, and of course, the Sage of Sixth Path did give a little bit of his, like, power into Kakashi. We went into a flashback with Kakashi. Kakashi was talking to, well, the Sage of Sixth Path, and even if the Sage of Sixth Path realized that if Sasuke actually managed to kill Naruto, Kakashi has to kind of do the deed by killing, well, his son, or mostly his reincarnated son. That's why he gave a little bit of power to Kakashi. And that's how Asta has mostly the running Sharingan. But yeah, that's what, well, we also Gojo Satoru. Gojo Satoru has his 6 eyes, of course. But of course, gives what they call a full knowledge of what his eyes can really do and other things that can really do with his abilities. That's what, well, Asta understands both of them and sees that all the techniques, all the abilities, all the strength, all the knowledge between both of them, and of course sharing into him. Is where, well, he also kind of meets, well, two people. Well, not two people, and specifically these two, not anomalies, creatures. One was from his anti-magic book. The other was from his silver and goldenish book, mostly metallic one. He met the being from the anti-magic book being a demon named Libby, and being actually his kind of like brotherish, well, mostly brother, who was mostly from his like mother's side and all that. Mostly his mother kind of adopted this demon, being really scared of the fact that she couldn't really hold Asta because of his strong magical power when he was still younger. Of course, well, Asta understand with Libby, but he didn't understand with the other creature. The other creature was not a demon, not an angel, but a dragon. This dragon was a silverish color, had golden slick eyes, had golden horns, and of course breathes out this like goldenish flames. Of course had other types of stills around his nails, but yeah. This is where, well, Asta was so confused with the dragon that the dragon explained about himself. The dragon is from a royal family that was able to use, well, different types of metallic magic. It's mostly from Asta's father's side. This is where Asta was shocked to believe that he was actually royalty in the first place. He's royalty in a different country. A country that doesn't exist that much, but will exist once Asta becomes the king, which Asta gladly accepts. And Asta does accept Libby and both the dragon. The dragon's name was what's called, well, its name was Metallic Kitu. This is where, well, Asta accepted both of them. And of course, this is where we go back into Asta, into that form. This is where Asta, he has his sword right in front of him. And of course, it's right now being, well, mostly stabbed into the ground. And of course, Asta has it just holding there. This is where, well, Asta, he breathes in and then out. Once, twice. The third time, he just launches up in the air, rushing towards Lucius. Lucius won his eyes, and Lucius could not dodge a metallic trail slash from what's it called, Asta's sword. Of course, this is where Lucius dodges it. But of course, it still gets cut. This is where, well, he realized that his arm is right now bleeding, the fact he can't heal it with the regeneration because of the anti-magic. This is where multiple weapons are right now flying around the area. Of course, this is where Lucius is trying to dodge, but some of the swords are missing him on purpose because it was hitting the Dark Tribal and the what's called mostly Dark Disciple members. Of course, the swords, the mostly normal metallic swords, you think they would have just normal materials in them and all that, and not anti-magic. Wrong. Asta did add an anti-magic into it. This is where, well, some of the, well, Dark Disciple and Dark Tribal members are getting killed thanks to these swords that has elements but also has anti-magic with them, destroying them in an instant. This is where, well, Zenon is trying to block it with his bones, but of course they're getting ripped through it, and of course he's getting destroyed. Even Vanica and what's it called, Dante. This is where Lucius says, "You bastard! I was doing this for peace." Asta says, "Screw your peace, Dan." Asta pulls out what's it called, another sword from thin air and gets it with his right hand. He uses his left hand with the other sword. This is where, well, he then just slashes at Lucius. Lucius coughs up blood, but Lucius starts still attacking him, still using time chroma's state. This is where Asta's dodging thin air and all that. And this is where, well, Asta says, "Dimension cutting slash." This is where, well, dimension cutting slash anti-magic style. This is where, well, he cuts at Lucius and Lucius coughs up blood, but this is where Asta says chromo state anti-magic. This is where, well, it's a mostly anti-magic time space around what's called Lucius. This is where it's stopping what's called Lucius magic and actually reversing the state of form that he's in. This is where, well, Lucius says, what are you doing? This is where the wound is being healed, but of course he's going back and back in time to his actual original form. This is where, well, Lucius managed to still break out of it and only has about 30 seconds of its form. This is where he says, "What did you do? Why do I feel weaker?" No! He rushes at Asta, and of course Asta dodges, and of course he's easily dodging these slashes and swings around Lucius. And this is where Lucius tried to use time chroma state, and this is where, well, Asta's eyes pulsate with power and destroying the chroma state. This is where, well, Lucius says, "What? How?" This is where Asta says, "You don't know who am I really. The name is Asta, the sage of the..." Well, mostly says, "My name is Asta, king of..." Well, mostly the king of metallic magic. This is what, well, Lucius widened his eyes and heard of that kingdom. Well, mostly the kingdom is called, what's it called? This is where Asta says the name is King of, well, Asta, king of Kingisku. This is where, well, the kingdom of Kingisku. This is where, well, Lucius heard of that kingdom. It was a kingdom that actually was near, well, kind of Diamond Country. Well, mostly in another side, it was kind of also kind of near what's it called, the Sun Kingdom, or mostly the, what's it called, Kingdom of the Sun or whatever. Whatever it's called, Sun, the Land of Sun or whatever. And of course, it was kind of near, but not near that much. But of course, it was a kingdom that was strong. Stronger than the, what's called, four tribal, mostly, not tribal. The four, mostly the kingdoms, the four kingdoms. But of course, fallen after a while. Of course, we're hearing that Asta is actually a prince of that place. Is shocking to him. This is where, well, Asta's eyes are still pulsating with power. And of course, it where, well, Asta says, "I am also known as the Sage of Limitless. The Sage of the Sixth Path of Limitless, if you like to call me that." This is what, well, mostly, no, not the Sage of the Sixth Path. His name was the Sage of Limitless. So, can you really take me on when you're just weaker than I? Limitless Spear. This is where Limitless actually becomes an actual matter of form. This is where, well, Spears appears and of course launches into Lucius, stabbing him. Lucius coughs up blood and says, "No, I can't die. You're gonna kill Julius with me." Asta says, "That's where you're wrong." This is where Asta appears right in front of Lucius. This is where, well, Asta pulls his eyes, and this is where he rips out a soul out of Lucius. And that is Julius, right now transforming Julius' body, his spiritual body, and having a physical body out of nowhere. Lucius says, You can't do this to me." Asta says, "But I can. Now, be gone, you evil spirits. Asta mostly grabs Lucius' body, throws him up in the air, and this is where, Asta then puts both of his hands together, and this is where, he was twisted in midair, and this is where he says, red, blue. Mostly he says, mostly reverse curse energy, red. Curse energy, blue. This is where both of them are transforming together into this purplish color. Hollow purple. This is where he launches hollow purple straight to Lucius. And Lucius says, no, you can't do this. Time chroma step. He is obliterated from existence. This is where, Asta grabs Julius and of course lands down on the ground. And of course, where, Asta kind of looks at, everyone, and everyone is shocked to see Asta's power. This is where, Asta has a crown on him, he has wings and all that, and of course, where, anti-magic is kind of erupting from him and magic at the same time. This is where, he puts Julius down, and of course, this is where Asta yawns and just decides to, sit there and just go to sleep. But yeah, we go into a time skip of, everyone. Mostly into a time skip of mostly 3 years. This is where everyone, it has now become, the age of, a couple of years. They were the age of 15 and now the age of 18. Of course, Asta at this time has become one of the strongest, mostly the strongest magic knight. Of course, he's still lazy and doesn't really want to try that much, but yeah. Of course, he also still has his face mask and his eye patch. Not eye patch, mostly blindfold, but yeah. He's also really considered to be really lazy, but yeah. Of course, I've been saying of course so many times. But he is going to be, not the Wizard King. He didn't become the Wizard King. He actually is still and forever will be, the king of, King Kaku. He's in that kingdom, he will ever be that king and all that. As a ruler. He did kind of go back to kind of rule over it, and of course, this is what, we go into, a time skip of, about, 5 years later. Of course, even though Asta was 18, we go into a 5-year-old later. Not 18-year-old, mostly, we go into a 23-year-old Asta. Asta did marry towards, Junko and Noel, and of course had children. But of course wanted to check up on Clover Kingdom, because yes, Junko and Noel kind of moved with him towards King Deku. Of course to rule over it, but yeah. And of course he has 2 princes and 2 princesses. But yeah. That's what, he did kind of choke, not choke. He checked, how the hell did I fucking fuck that check again? He checked on the Clover Kingdom to see the Wizard King. The Wizard King is not Julius, but Yami. Yami had a kid with Char, and of course, yeah. Of course, he also checked up in Spade Kingdom and met, who's the king of Spade. Of course, Asta still has this kind of not really rivalry instant with but still kind of tried to show off. But yeah, he can't really do that when Asta's 10 times so much more powerful than him. But yeah, of course, Yuno's kid gets kind of angry with anywhere near, Asta's children, mostly with Noel, because one of his children with Noel is a prince who is a little bit older than, not a little bit older, mostly the same age, but a little bit older than Yuno's kid. But of course, this kid is kind of arrogant and cocky at the same time, just like Yuno's kid. Mostly not Yuno's. Mostly like Yuno and all that. It's mostly Yuno's kid and all that. But on the other side, Asta's kid is kind of relaxed and really chill, and really kind like Noel. But yeah. So yeah. Of course, Yuno's kid and mostly they fight each other. But yeah. Of course, Asta does kind of go visit Hodge Village to see of everyone's upcoming and all that. He then checks on mostly everyone, and everyone is doing fine in Hodge Village, but then just decides to check up on the Black Bulls. The Black Bull leader is, none other than, Nosh. Well, not Nosh, mostly, what's it called? Yeah, Nosh is actually the Blackpool, well, new leader and all that. And of course, where, well, he's actually holding a grimoire of, well, the Clover of Flames and all that. Mostly the one that Asta gave him. Of course, it's half of, well, being a 5-leaf to 4-leaf and all that. Of course, being blue flames and reddish flames. And of course, his kind of vice captain is, well, Mary, who's also 18 years old. And of course, his other vice captain is Finica. Well, yeah, Finica. Of course, Finica kind of is with next to Nosh, of course, talking to him, and even Mary. And of course, is where Asta says, "Oh, what's what the lovebirds doing together?" This is where all of them becomes red in their face, and of course, Nosh says, "Shut up, Asta. Also, what the hell are you doing here?" Asta says, "I just came here to visit, of course." Asta's eyes are right now with, well, the running Sharingan with his eyes mixed together with the mostly not six path, the six eyes. Yes, that's unchangeable. His eyes are actually permanent like that, but yeah. Of course, Asta has shades on, and of course, he's just talking and all that. This is where Nosh says, "Whatever, bastard." So he just came here to visit, or he came here to just tease us? Asta says, this is where, well, Noelle says, "Tease you." This is where Noelle says, "But still, it's kind of cute to see you all." This is where they all blush and say, "Shut up." This is where, well, Asta says, "Well, so who's going to be the lucky one to kind of..." This is where Nosh says, "Okay, you might, all of you get out." This is where he just kicks both Asta and Noelle out, but yeah. This is where both Noelle and Asta was just laughing, but yeah. This is what, well, Junko managed to get there, and of course Junko says, "What are you guys doing? Did you want to just tease around with Nosh and the others?" Yep. This is where, well, Asta decides to go check up on each of the other Black Bulls. Of course, Finra managed to just settle down. What's called Magna. He decides to become a real man and like lives out in the mountains and all that like that. But of course, it's still in the Black Bulls. But yeah, newer members are in the Black Bulls. But yeah, uh, of course, there's also Vanessa, who just went to kind of relax and just do whatever. What's it called? Luck is always a fighter type, so of course he's still in the Black Bulls, and of course just fighting and all that. Henry is still in the Black Bulls and just there, just protecting the base. But yeah, a lot of people are just doing whatever. But yeah, of course, this is the end of this what if. Oh wait, before I go on, Asta kind of goes to kind of visit the land of Sun, mostly where mostly Yami kind of recommend him. This is where he meets, well, what's it called, the Shogun of, what's it called, the Land of Sun. And that's his name is, well, he meets Ryudo, and Ryudo does actually know who Asta is. And of course, this is where he talks to Asta and of course Noelle and Junko. And ask them if they can, well, not ask them, mostly just kind of welcome them to the Land of the Sun. But yeah, this is the end of this what if. Yeah, the end of the what if. End of, well, part 7. The kind of strongest is born. Whatever. I'm gonna name it something like that. But of course, well, this is the end of this what if. Of course, I was going to make what's it called a new what if today, but it seems like it's already 1:55 and I gotta charge my phone. So of course, or not 1:55, 2 o'clock. But other than that, have a nice day, potato night, potato, and good night. Yep. Bye bye. Potato.